Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa Psychic Investigator. Hello, huh? Huh? Everybody, welcome. Rosa Psychic Investigator. So I'm doing the intro after the fact because sometimes days like today, there's so much going on that I forget almost. So there's so much going on. As soon as I finished the video that I had just done about the airports, I I had these questions about Elon Musk, but then I remembered something huge that dropped today also, which is that Kash Patel's email was hacked by a group of Iranian hackers. Okay. So I was reminded of this because I wanted to ask if Iran could release, do they have the Epstein files? Will they release it? Even though, guys, like I said, I don't think that the Epstein files are the thing that will. I think it's going to be the military, not the. Honestly, the shamelessness, the depravity, they're not going to, right? No, nothing has happened to people involved in the files, pretty much, who are based in the US, only in Europe, right? So what's the protection? I like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head. As I breathe in, I fill my lungs. As I breathe out, I create a circle. I create a circle, I step into it. I step into it, I feel protected. I step into it, I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that it create the good, and only the good for the good people, the good for the good people. Okay, so we have it here from Midas Touch, and it's in a lot of different publications. You can look it up. News: FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email has been hacked by Iran-linked group Handala Hack. DOJ says the group released personal photos and documents after claiming it breached the FBI, warning its security was nothing more than a joke. Now, we know that those people connected to the current administration have very unsecured communications. They use apps on their phone, etc. And guys, I don't even want to go there because it's a whole other bag of worms. But the girlfriend of Kash Patel, I mean, it's pretty clear she appears to be some kind of foreign operative, right? And there's a pictures of her holding his phone. It's just obviously she's not linked to Iran, but there's something strange going on here. So, I'm being reminded that the FBI released something about Russians. Like, it's weird to me that he would, but then when you think about like the situation of like who they're dealing, we're dealing with here, right? But anyway, what happened here? What's the story with his email being hacked? And like I think about it, the joke, the head of the FBI. That's just so. Tell me. No, it's saying that he was being told. I do see this woman helping it. Oh, why don't you start telling him what he's such a fool? Oh, he's so flattered that this really beautiful woman likes him, but obviously that's this she doesn't really like him. She likes her job, whatever that is, right? So I see that she's like, oh, install this app, do this and that. And so she made it so that his communications are extremely vulnerable and everything. Even there's like listening capabilities on the phone thing. It's just everything is out there. On the phone thing. It's just everything is out there. And I see that he's being exploited as if honestly these countries, and I think there's information allegedly that she's linked to Israel. I don't know. But it doesn't necessarily even matter which country because it's like there's so many countries that are listening in. And what I pick up here is this attitude that these countries have that there's this temporary opportunity before this whole thing collapses, whether the US goes down in their minds or the economy crashes or somebody's going to stop something. We have to exploit as much as possible. And that's what they're doing through this guy because he's truly a fool. And, you don't need to be, it's written on his face, right? He's inept, he is not capable, but he's very easy to manipulate. So it's saying we won and we put the most not gullible. Like he would purchase Trump really, and would push him with compromise and or money. And now, so what do they have? They have all kinds of information, but the most important thing is ways to embarrass him and to. And I'm okay. I'm not even talking about Iran. I'm talking about like with stuff that I think this woman has pushed him towards. To be honest. All right. So, and then she was the. Remember how she was the one who posted something that was initially eloquent. I thought about, oh, there's a group that wants to take him down. No, no, no. Okay, guys, I found this thread. That's what I was talking about this woman that she had released something. This thing is pretty long. I don't want to get into it too much, but I just want to give you the context for this because I think it's pretty relevant. Because here we have this post. It was posted on the March 24th, 2026. Today is Friday, March 27th. So she is obviously getting ahead of the story, but I'm not convinced. Like she's a little too articulate for because the batch the story about this woman I think it's fake is that she is some kind of like a country singer. And come on, she's a little too attractive to be with that guy. Let's just be real, okay? What does it really have to offer, right? So, all right. Okay. So I'm just going to read this one because here she says 2 out of 13 posts that she's made. In July 2025, I was falsely labeled a Mossad spy in a coordinated campaign designed to isolate an official of the U.S. government by using the person publicly nearest to him, me. Across the full operation, July's events and others dating back to 2024, 6 chapters, 22 months. The data shows 3.1 million retweet engagements. As you can see, and like I said, it's beyond the scope of this particular video. The writing on that post was a little too suspicious, right? She sounds a little too articulate. She was not the person who wrote this. And I think that post, guys, even for somebody like me, who was really, I think it might be on the spectrum, who's interested in linguistics and all kinds of things like that. That's too technical, even versus, like, does it make sense? A person who wrote this has to know, and it has to be too detail oriented. That's not this woman, okay? So it's almost like she betrays who she really is by posting that, right? It's like, who does she think she's kidding? But anyway, so she posts this, and then the stuff comes out. Now, this is just to show you the types of people that Kash Patel is involved in. And if you look through, and feel free to do it yourself, because like I said, there's so much going on. This is not the main story necessarily, right? You could see that she starts attacking Russia-linked actors, and we know that in MAGA, there is a split between the ones that are pro-Israel and more Russia-aligned, and the ones that are, I'm sorry, the ones that are pro-Israel and not super into Russia, and the ones that are really hardcore pro-Russia and anti-Israel, people like Bannon, for example, right? So that's the split here, and we're seeing it in real time. And okay, now let's go back to the story. Hello, everybody. And so, guys, there was my video. The other video was just finishing editing. But anyway, going back here to this woman. So, honestly, like, it feels like he was quote unquote robbed blind. Like, it's not the first time, and they exploited it. Like, there was all these open doors in his phone. Yes, and so it's saying we have a complete foolish idiot in place, and it's saying that Trump does not want to replace him because the Russians like him again. So, guys, situation, are we being governed by Russia right now? See, to a degree, yes. But why can't we? Like, why? Where is everybody? I mean, is there anybody who could? It's saying it shows me a stage near collapse, and then finally, people show up to hold the stage before it collapses, so it can be put back together. That's what I see. Okay, now on to the other question. That is the important question. So Okay, do we guys, I just have, I guess I need to ask this question, but I just want to move on to the next topic. But is Kash Patel gonna last? He's pretty much gone. I see him putting his shoes on to walk out. But I see as he tries to walk out, he's like blocked. It'll be too late. He's gonna have to go to prison or something. But anyway, let me pause here because I want to get to the main question, which is, since this Iran group has hacked into his email, does Iran have the Epstein files, or at least parts of the files that show Trump? Do they have it, and are they going to make it public? They have videos. They're saying it's too sick for them to even. They can't. Honestly, I see them throwing up after they watch it. So what are they going to do? Yes, they will make an announcement, but it's interesting. It's saying that just as the whole thing is, it's like Trump is kind of, it's been declared he has to leave. Then they show this, but it's saying not before. So are you telling me that this is not going to be the trigger? Everybody knows already. It tells me there's enough information online to know what he's done. We don't know all the details, but at least as far as the girls are concerned, it's there. So yes, we need some of the footage, right? It's not that we need to verify, but something that gets etched into people's minds. But it's saying it is ultimately this military action that he's doing now that will take him down, and something that the military has to do something, even if it's all only for self-preservation. Because when the whole thing is starting to collapse, they have to do something. That's what I understand. But I say, it's telling me, Rosie, express it, but no desperation. So like, all you have to do is say it is done. See it as a done thing, because that's what I pick. That's the energy I pick up here. Okay. So do they have it saying, but why? Okay, why can't Iran just release it now? Wouldn't they win already if they do this? Are they gonna do that? Why can't they do that? It's interesting. I also see here that they have a relationship with the Russians where they don't want to give everything up, because if they do, then the Russian position will be weakened. So it's almost as if they have some sort of deal with the Russians to not release all of it, or not release it. Okay, but they will release stuff, not everything. But I see once it becomes Trump's position is untenable, like he becomes a total. I mean, they're doing great memes, by the way, but he becomes untenable. He has to go. So, okay, so that's the story. That's the answer. Okay. All right. Thank you for watching.